Good evening, Miss. I'm Cesar Marpas, and I'm here again in front of you to tackle about the topic Part 11 to 14. So, the Part 11 measures on public health emergencies of international concern section. So, in section 53, preparedness and response guidelines. So in subsection 53.1, the Bureau of Quarantine will institute a rule that applies to a place or group commanding the measures for the control of the initiation and spread of community health dangers of worldwide concern at the traffic and airstrip of access. In subsection 53.2, in the event of an eruption of community health danger of worldwide concern in a society, the director of the Bureau will approve to the Secretary of Health the following measures for the stop of broadcast and spread of aforementioned community health danger in arrangement accompanying Department of Health instrumentalists and added word management instrumentalist. In subsection 53.2.1, apprehension, imprisonment, or seclusion or following of suspect or cases. In subsection 53.2.2, place under alive or inactive following things that have one existed unprotected to the contamination throughout as hazardous contact. In 53.2.3, to acknowledge and extend our society isolated place the community health danger happens. In subsection 53.2, the Secretary of Health is approved to prepare added administration instrumentalities for the purpose of forestalling and presentation the broadcast and spread of community health crisis of worldwide concern. So in this part, so it is where the public health emergencies of international, there are a lot of concern on how to measure in order for the safety of everybody. So moving forward to the part 12, which is management protocol for diseases subject to the international health regulations. So in section 54, cholera. A ship or airplane will be viewed as contaminated if all along the journey of a case of cholera has happened working. So in subsection 54.1.2, when emanating a cholera contaminated field, a ship or an airplane on influx will be judged as non-polluted if upon check for one quarantine medical officer skilled is no case of cholera that has happened working all along the journey. In subsection 54.1.3, a transport or an airplane on influx will be believed as plug contaminated if it established facts of human or experiment subject plug working. 55.5.3, a transport or an airplane emanating a plug polluted region will be respected as contaminated of an examination. The environments were particularized in the above paragraphs and do not lie. In 55.5.4, a transport or an airplane will be contingent on moving air through a space under one the following: A. The company, human or experimental subject, plug working. B. Accompanying moderate or burdensome experiment subject, disease emanating plug polluted. So cholera, it is a kind of disease. So that's what the medical officer would um, have to check the medical clearance. Next is the section 55, the plug. 55.3, a symptomatic suspect will be situated in quarantine or established under following for an ending of not as well 6 days from the date of uncovering. So it's like COVID-19. So if you have that symptoms, so you are going to quarantine 1 week or more than a week. Yes. Then in 55.2.4, baggage of a plug contaminated body or suspect and some additional item or view the send the or airplane thought throughout expected adulterated will be disinfected. So just like if you have a plug disease or like um COVID-19. So um, the the different officers will disinfect your baggage or your things. So in section 56, yellow fever, a port or airplane will be saw as yellow delirium polluted if it established facts of yellow delirium working. So fever, it is also a disease. So in 56.1.2, a transport or airplane will be believed as doubtful if this insection was not acted convincingly and live mosquitoes are working. So if there are still mosquitoes around the airplane or in an airport, so it's sure that there is a yellow fever there. It's it is it has it is possible. So in 56 subsection 56.1.3, the transporter airplane will be examined and bear hardship heating control measures working, and as far as aforementioned measures have been completed activity, a container will be thought out in quarantine. So that's what the management protocol for diseases subject to the international health regulations. So that's what their regulations. If there are diseases um, that been checked or tested in an airport or in a port. And now moving on, we're going to tackle the part 13, which is medical clearance of foreigners for immigration purposes. So this is where the clearance for medical or a medical certificate should be checked from any foreigner tourist for immigration purposes, only immigration. So in section 57, medical examination of foreigners for immigration purposes. So in subsection 57.1, classification of defects and diseases of foreigners that are liable to be subjected regulatory arrangement of one Bureau of Immigration. So in subsection 57.2.1, so it is the class a categorization that a foreigner has able to be contracted affliction of public meaning and or has a material of insanity that can pause or has a formal a warning to the future security or prosperity to himself or to possible choice. So in subsection 57.2.3, only regular quarantine medical officer can issue the healing go ahead of foreigner settlers. So only the quarantine medical officers, no other than. In subsection 57.4, examination requirements for foreigners. So the examine so the examine rec- would be the requirements. So in subsection 56.4.2, the serology, 56.4.3, stool test, and 56.4.4, the urine test, 56.4.5, another examination when necessary. So that's what should be the test that would be made. And lastly, the part 14, the utilization of income. So in section 58, authority to utilize at least 50% of the income. So to impose the direction concerning the exercise of section 9 of the Quarantine Act of 2004, Republic Act, the Bureau of Quarantine will grant permission to use not completely one of two equal parts of a whole of the gains produced, liable to be subjected, bookkeeping and verifying a rule that applies to a place or group. In subsection 58.1, the one of two equal parts of a whole wage create will be employed and established as a trust fund to improve the necessities of the Bureau for the maintenance and other operating expenditures and capital outlays, provided nevertheless no amount in the pronounced trust fund will be second-hand for the fee rather, or fees and different compensations and benefits in cash or in this manner. So in subsection 58.2, the Bureau of Quarantine will claim separate books of reports to cover the certificate and exercise of all gains composed in accordance with the common allocating, bookkeeping, and verifying rule that applies to a place or group. In subsection 58.3, such salary as counted beneath that will be referred to as quarantine pay in this place section will be authorized as trust fund and will be located in some approved administration bank. In subsection 58.3.1, service fees. In 58.3.4, the interest wage emergent from the trust fund will be sent to the Bureau of Treasury. In subsection 58.5, the additional one of two equal parts of a whole will be acted as one income in the general fund expected sent to the Bureau of Treasury. So in subsection 58.6, the exercise of the revenue will be certified for one director of quarantine upon the approval of the management committee of the Bureau in the form of a resolution. Copy supplied the office of the Secretary of the Department of Health and the Department of Budget and Management. So this is where the utilization income. So this is what their um, funds should be taken or any or their salary. So this part is where the salary of any employee. So I think that's all, ma'am. So thank you and God bless. Keep safe.